Hello and welcome to Oxinchannel. A lot of students ask this question. So, should I try to learn British English or American English? What's the difference between them? Which one is better? Which one is cooler? To answer these questions, I've got a special guest with me who is a linguist and will tell us all about it. Hello and welcome.
Hello, thanks for having me.
What's the difference between American and British English?
Well, language is a highly local phenomenon, which means that when you move from one place to another, it changes. And not just in countries, for example, in cities as well. If you move from New York to Los Angeles, London to Yorkshire, or Melbourne to Sydney, the same will happen. It will change.
Mm-hmm. I see. How does it change?
Well, there are four main categories in which this change occurs. There are sounds, grammar, vocabulary, and of course, spelling.
What about accent?
The accent is already included in the sounds group, along with pronunciation, intonation, and a few other things.
Which group is the most important?
Well, it's not easy to say, but we should probably focus first on vocabulary. That is, the words. For example, in the UK, in most of the UK, the item of clothing that you use to cover your legs is, or are, trousers. Whereas in the United States, they're called pants. So the funny thing is, if you walk to a London shop and ask for some pants, they might think you're actually talking about underpants.
Oh, this sounds like trouble.
Well, it can be, and it's not just limited to countries, as I told you. Even, for example, within the United States, suppose you want to order a regular non-alcoholic drink. Depending on where you are, the name changes. In some places it's a pop, in others it's a soda, in others still it could be a Coke. Even though it's a Pepsi, they call it a Coke. Yeah.
So, isn't that quite confusing?
Indeed, but language learners don't need to worry about that. You can manage the situation if you follow some simple advice.
How can we do that?
Well, you have to differentiate between your speaking and your listening. For your speaking, I can give you two bits of advice. First, do not shift between accents. Just choose one and stick to it, practicing the same variety over and over again. And also for your speaking, try to choose one of the easier, more common varieties, like the received pronunciation that you see on the BBC, because obviously you'd want everybody to understand you. For listening, however, it's a different story. Go to town. You can listen to anything you want. For example, in the UK, there's Irish, Scottish, Welsh, Scouse, Yorkshire, then a whole lot of them. And also in America, there is, for example, Midwestern, Mid-Atlantic, coastal Southern, inland Southern, and many other varieties, and in Australia as well. So the idea is, listen to all of them, but don't get obsessed with each. Just pick one for your speaking.
Thank you for being with us, and thank you everyone for watching.
Thank you.
She's not answering her phone now, but I know she's in the office today.
Yes, she asked me to ring her today.